Australian Championship.
And Bruno has arrived.
This rivalry emerges as Danny Angwick has won it for South Melbourne.
A West Derby legend.
You can never be sure of anything in knockout football, which teaches us time and again to expect the unexpected. But as the quarterfinals of the Australian Championship take us to Avenger Park, one thing seems almost inevitable: goals. It's been one wild roller coaster ride for Moreton City Excelsior so far. We've been the great entertainers of the competition. 15 goals in 6 games puts them level with Heidelberg as the top scoring team in the group stage. But the Queensland Premiers also shipped 13 at the other end, the only side to concede in double digits and progress. You can see that the winner of today's quarterfinal will progress to face Marconi Stallions in the semi. Heidelberg United versus Metro Stars coming up later this afternoon. Well, for the home side, Avondale, it's been comparatively smooth sailing, unbeaten through 6 games and trailing only once. Star signing Bruno Fornaroli is in fine form with 4 goals already, and the Avengers will be heavy favourites at home. But a raft of injuries and absentees, including captain Aidan Bryce, means their depth will be sorely tested this afternoon. Let's check in on the sideline with Nick DeBarno.
Yes, Josh, welcome here to Avenger Park here in Melbourne's north. Cloudy conditions at the moment, but nice and balmy here for football. Hopefully the rain stays away. We've got some cloud overhead at the moment, but it's set to be an absolute blockbuster today. If it follows anything like it did last night with Marconi's big win, of course, the winner does play Marconi in next week's semi-final, and you can vote at home who you think will play the Stallions in the semi-final. Scan the QR code below and let us know in today's poll. Back to you, Josh.
Thank you, Nick. Kickoff just moments away in this pivotal game in the knockout stages. Will it be the favourites Avondale who continue their procession, unbeaten so far, or Moreton City, the team that's thrilled us with their spectacular comebacks? They've trailed 7 times in the group stage and fought back 5, including from 2 goals down 2 weeks in a row to draw 3-3. Josh Parrish here. It's my great pleasure to be joined, as always, by Scott McDonald. Scott, a tasty one on our hands this afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Josh. And as you mentioned with Moreton City, there's never a dull moment in this championship with them. Cameron Miller's side, they're always in the game, regardless if they're down a goal, down 2 goals within this competition. They've always gave us entertainment up to this point. Has Avondale, with their, goal threats in Bruno Fornaroli, Sian Cuba and co. They've been absolutely wonderful to watch at times. So I'm hopeful, not to put the commentator's curse on this, that we're going to see goals aplenty and we're going to have a wonderful match on our hands today, Josh.
Well, Moreton City Excelsior just don't know when they're beaten. So Avondale, even if they lead by 1 or 2 or 3 in this game, they can't assume it's 1.
No, they certainly can't. They can't. And like you said, a little bit of a depleted squad for Avondale, particularly defensively, with no Bryce and no Reed, who was out obviously last week as well with a late hamstring. But on the other end, with Moreton, they're a little bit depleted up front as well. No Josh Scott, their top scorer, and no Andy Pengele today. So Jankovic leads the line.
Here come the teams. Avondale in the all blue. Moreton City Excelsior sporting the famous bruised banana kit, made famous first by Arsenal in the 90s, but secondly by Moreton City themselves when they knocked off Perth Glory in the Australia Cup.
Yeah, I just think of Ian Wright every time I see that.
Well, they could use an Ian Wright today with all of the absentees from their front line, but it should be an absolute corker. And there's the main man, Bruno Fornaroli. Into the team news, and there's plenty of team news to get through. Matt Reed misses out through a hamstring injury he picked up last week against Preston. In comes Brandon Lundy to the back line. Christian Trycheski is on the bench after picking up that ankle injury, and Amir Abdallah absent from the squad entirely. In comes George Ott, who starts on that left-hand side, returning from an ankle problem. Yite Towns back into the base of midfield.
It's an interesting one, that, Josh, isn't it? But I'll let you get on with the Moreton team first.
Well, as I said, plenty of absentees. Joe Scott and Andy Pengelly both substituted last week through injury against South Melbourne, and they both miss out. Luka Jankovic comes in to attack. Keitatsu Kojima will push up to left wing with James Murphy at left back. Trent Millard in the heart of the back line. Dylan Manecki misses out and is left on the bench. Two teenagers in reserve for Moreton City as well. Look out for them if they get some minutes off the bench. Well, Nick Tabano was fortunate enough to catch up with both head coaches ahead of kickoff this afternoon. Let's hear what they had to say.
You know, it's like a really attacking team and really defensive team. You know, they can go in transition. You can see all the games they play, they score a lot of goals, they concede a lot of goals, so it's going to be a really entertainment game, and we're looking forward to take the points from here, the 3 points.
Yeah, we're very confident today. Obviously, we're excited. I think it's going to be a really good game of football. Two good footballing teams. They got some very good individual players. You know, we've scored the most goals in this competition so far. They're possession orientated. We dominate the ball every game we play too. So we're really looking forward to this football match. And off the back of last night's first quarter final, you know, we're excited for what the quarter final brings.
Well, the knockout rounds of the Australian Championship also see the debut of the FVS system. That's Football Video Support, an alternative to VAR, which is part of a FIFA trial. It also includes the option for coaches to challenge decisions. 2 decisions they can challenge per match unsuccessfully. If it's successful, they keep the challenge. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But Eric Saba, the referee charged with officiating today's action, and he may be called over to the sideline for a video review. The 4th official, Nathan Shakespeare, will be a busy man as well, dealing with whatever cards the managers decide to play, Scott.
Yeah, look, it's an interesting one. It's very, very good that it's been brought into the competition for me. Obviously, we're in the serious part of the competition now as well, and you wouldn't want anyone to go out on a controversial one. So hopefully it's played right and we don't have too much controversy today, but it's there for us and everyone to see if it does come. But, you know, again, with the likes of the goals and everything else, there won't have to be appeals, I don't believe. You'll fill me in a little bit as we go along, Josh, but the referees and the 4th officials will be looking at anything, you know, dubious that comes that way, whether it's offsides or, you know, balls, you know, that might be over the line or not. They'll have a look at that rather than the coaches stepping in.
Yes, if a goal is awarded, there will be an automatic review. As I said, we'll get into the weeds as needed. Moreton City ready to kick off this one in the yellow bruised banana kit, kicking from right to left. That's Seita Murai on your screen. Their star Japanese attacker who gets us underway at Avenger Park. This one should be a corker. Avondale versus Moreton City Excelsior, live and free on SBS and SBS On Demand. The Australian Championship continues to serve up dramatic storylines week after week, and knockout football should only heighten that. Murai. Moreton City with early possession to settle any nerves. Murai has his heels clipped, but the referee doesn't see anything wrong with it.
Well, it looks already like Avondale will set up in their normal 4-3-3. We did talk off air a little bit about that, didn't we? That they may set up in a back 3 just with the personnel that they do have with Jakupi, but Jakupi looks like he's playing as a right winger at the moment, not as a right wing back as we normally would probably see him in the Victorian NPL.
Brandon Lundy and Dylan Jakubi both getting their first starts of the competition today, so it shows just how depleted the Avondale first team selection is, although Brandon Lundy looking right at home in the first team.
Not a bad start, is it?
Not used to playing as a central defender. That's where he'll be deployed today in their time of need. Lost Aiden Bryce to a hamstring. Matt Reed to another hamstring last week, and until the championship transfer window, they would have had Kalalu Kamara available as another centre-back, but he's left the club and signed for the newly promoted Bentley Greens for next season, so had to bring in the youngster D'Argenio, who looked pretty at home last week against Preston. Trailing arm from Millard. Saw appeals for handball, but it works out to Avondale's favour anyway. Tevere for Ott. The return pass for Tevere. Fornaroli's in there. Moreton City scramble the ball away. A sweeping move from Avondale early doors. Morai has 2 for company. And the combination of Carpenter and Wellsmore is enough to dispossess him.
Well, already there we're seeing the threat of Avondale when they're in possession. Down those wings, even without Abdallah today. Getting in behind Tevere, who's been wonderful in this competition. There's been a lot of interest as well from A-League around him and what he's going to do after this competition. Wonderful player, showing his qualities once again.
It's a clear foul on Ute Towns from Damon Anderson. No booking, despite the Avondale protestations. Not a situation where you can play the appeal card just yet. That's only for potential red card incidents.
There's that chance again. Just Smith just getting enough on that. A little toe to get it out of Fornaroli's pathway.
If Tevere's a little more selfish there, could he go for goal from the angle?
Yeah, absolutely. But when you've got someone sniffing around like Bruno Fornaroli, he demands it in that 6-yard box.
True, we didn't hear what Fornaroli was saying to Tevere at that time. Probably screaming for the ball.
Here's that challenge again there.
It's a nasty one, isn't it?
It is a bit of a late one, and it is from behind, so I'm surprised that the referee, even though we're early on, he lets him away with that one.
Perhaps just occurring inside the first 3 minutes. Eric Saba saw fit to keep his cards in his pocket, but I'm sure Damon Anderson will be on his final warning now. Cuba. Trying to toe it to Watt, but the move breaks down, and now Yankovic slides the ball through towards Keitatsu Kojima. Avondale work it out of danger. Cuba, nice disguised pass into Ott. Fornaroli hitting the deck this time. Nothing untoward about the challenge from Sayers. Morai. Anderson. Anderson's early delivery. Yankovic is an aerial target in the box, as we know. 2 of his 3 goals so far in the tournament have come aerially. Anderson. Sayers. Kojima combining beautifully with Murai. Some very deft touches from the Japanese import. Sayers wasn't quite on the same wavelength as his 2 teammates.
It's a decent start for Moreton City. Getting plenty of the ball. As we've seen throughout this competition, very, very open style of play. It can go both ways. And they've certainly started very positively in this match.
Shove in the back on Fornaroli, and he made sure the referee knew about it.
One we've also not talked about is Trent Millard playing in at centre-back. Naturally a left-back or a right-back. So it shows you again, Moreton City having to make cover as well, and he's got a big challenge ahead. Partnering Declan Smith today and trying to stop the likes of Bruno Fornaroli.
Switch of play, looking for Wellsmore. Have a lot of room to keep that in, and the bounce was very awkward for the New Zealander.
Another Queenslander there, Josh, as well. Plenty of them on show today, not just in that Moreton team.
Yeah, dual national is Emlyn Wellsmore. To clarify, he's revealed when he signed for Avondale that he had trials with Auckland FC ahead of their inaugural A-League campaign. Ultimately unsuccessful, but a player who many feel could step up to that professional level. Cuba was caught late, and the referee will bring it back for a free kick. And it's been a physical enough start to this affair, and most often it's been Avondale players on the receiving end.
Yeah, I don't think there could be too much argument with that. It was a little bit late again from behind. Referee just waiting to see if the advantage could be played.
Here it is again. Sayers sliding in.
Oh, a forward roll with that one too, and down he goes again. He was in the wars last week when we watched him, wasn't he, Sian? He'll have plenty to say in this game, that's for sure. Wonderful talent. Again, another Queenslander. Promoting them today.
Victorian NPL competition is full of them. His brother Diego has come down to Victoria, signed with Dandenong City last season and made it all the way to a grand final. Cuba, outswinger for Otts. Not far away. Great shape on it from Sian Cuba.
Yeah, he got up ever so well there, and you're thinking just for a moment, he's going to get up and hit the target. Didn't trouble Foster in the end.
Short goal kick and then sent long. Should be Tom Manos's ball this, and is. Here it is again. There's George Ott getting up highest. Playing out of position today as a left winger. Showing his versatility. Can it be an advantage when you're playing almost a target man out wide, and in open play at least, he could be up against a smaller fullback when the crosses come into the back post?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think from set pieces as well, to have another physical specimen in there, like we've seen already, certainly be an advantage. Particularly Moreton today, a little bit on the smaller side.
Well, you can see there, Brandon Lundy just barreled straight into the back of Luka Jankovic. It's been a physical start from Moreton City, and Avondale responding in kind. Hear the drums in the background, almost sounds like war drums. Building to something here, Scott.
Yeah.
Dargenio. Battling with McAnally. And winning a throw deep in enemy territory. Carpenter on the score sheet last week against Preston. Finds Ott off the throw. Towns got enough of the ball there to satisfy the referee. Millard got a foot in, it spilled out to Wellsmore, and now we'll stop the game for a potential head injury. And that gives us a chance to check in at pitch level with Nick Dabano. Nick, how are the tempers on the benches? Because it's been a rather physical affair so far.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, tempers at the moment quite measured. Jonathan Germano and some of the Avondale coaching staff not best pleased after some of those early challenges on Sian Cuba, just asking the question about how many challenges will warrant a booking. But one thing to keep an eye on, as you guys mentioned, is George Ott playing as that wide target man, something made famous by former Juventus coach Max Allegri when he used to play Mario Mandzukic in that role. So he's playing a bit of a similar role, and we saw that got them all the way through to a Champions League final. So we'll see if that works in a similar vein today for Avondale.
Thanks, Nick. Well, if George Ott can do what Mandzukic did in a Champions League final, Avondale will be very happy indeed. They are an Italian club, Avondale, so taking inspiration from Juventus wouldn't be out of the realms of possibility. Lundy's header. Sayers. Tevere, quick feet to beat Kojima. He doesn't go past Anderson. And Moreton City have an opening here. Damon Anderson. Muscled out of it by Carpenter. It's really well defended.
Oh, it's extremely well defended. You know, used his body ever so well. Carpenter there just read the play of Anderson. Moreton City have started with Kojima up top. Originally we'd seen Jankovic probably lining up. Well, we thought he would be lining up as that 9, but he's sort of playing in behind Kitatsu Kojima today. with Murai playing on that left wing.
He's a marvellously versatile player. We do see the first booking of the game flashed Harry Arneson's way.
See here again, grab of the shirt, they're saying.
Preventing a potential attacking chance.
Again, that for me, the tackle and the challenge earlier on is far more a yellow card than that one.
Perhaps Eric Saber's patience just running a little thin.
It's a silly one, though, to give away. The way that Harry Arneson likes to play the game, he likes to get in your face, so he has to be extremely careful now.
Wellsmore verting from right full back. Manos. Oh, the flat delivery didn't work out, and Arneson's touch was heavy. Well, it was a glorious opening for Moreton City. The ball's ended up in the back of the net. The whistle had already gone.
Well, it's very unlike Manos, who's been excellent to this point in this tournament, you have to say. Really poor touch here from Arneson, though, to get away.
It was almost a gift. Lundy. On back by Murai. Clear foul from Dargenio on Jankovic. And Avondale getting into trouble playing out for defence.
Yeah, just really sloppy in possession in that defensive third right now. Very uncharacteristically like Avondale, as what we've seen so far in this tournament. But again, Moreton City will press you high as well. They'll look for the turnover, and that's when they're a huge threat in that transition moment. The likes of Jankovic and Murai and Kojima. Really good opportunity now for Murai, set piece play.
It's going to be Seita Murai with his sights potentially set on goal. Can he bring the dead ball to life?
I think
he's going to go for goal, and it's always whipping wide. Looked good off the boot. It curled too early.
Yeah, usually you can go off the goalkeeper in these moments. And he was never troubled. It was never on target. It's actually a really, from that behind view, a really poor effort from Seita Murai. I just feel at the moment both teams are just trying to feel each other out still. Just jabbing away. No real knockout punch to talk of just yet.
Smith. Got up nice and high there, Declan Smith. Oh, and it's given away. Fornaroli looking to find a teammate, had his shirt tugged by McAnally. It's a matter of which team can get out of their own half at the moment. Every time somebody tries to play, the press seems to force a mistake.
Yeah, so much you're relying on today. A little bit of nerves out there potentially as well. But I think if you're Avondale, watching Moreton as well over the piece of this tournament, you want to high press them in their defensive third, create turnovers like that, and create chances.
It's going to be Blake Carpenter stinging the palms of Nathan Foster.
Well, it's wonderful technique from Carpenter, who scored last week. He's got that feeling, that vibe. There was a little bit of dip on this as well, as we'll see from behind. Really great view of that. Foster gets a great two hands to it, and that will do his confidence the world of good as well. But a wonderful strike, you have to say.
Almost a knuckleball from Carpenter. That was moving. He takes the corner, quick and short. Jakupi, change of angle, whipped in with his left. Free header for Anderson at the back post. Moonraker of a clearance. They've given away the free kick. Again, quickly taken. Avondale want to get things moving. Jakupi misses everybody in the box. That's a poor cross. still pretty calm on the touchline for Moreton City. Guess he's been down by 2 goals in successive weeks, so being under a little bit of pressure away from home and the game remaining at 0-0 is child's play by comparison. Forward by Lundy. Towns with a headed down. Tevere on the stretch. Oh, brilliant from Tevere. Jakupi trying to pick the gap. Well, the run into the channel from Cuba was a clever one, but the pass couldn't find him.
Yeah, just a little bit too heavy on that. And you just wonder, with Abdallah out today, what effect that's going to play in the long term here in terms of getting into those final third and trying to get actions like in these areas here, in these wider areas. Can Jakupi produce the goods today?
He spun his man there. Jakupi whips it in. Goalkeeper came out for it. Instead of it was Smith turning it away at the near post. And then Wellsmore presented it to Morai. Or to Kojima, I should say. Morai's on the right. Knocking it back to Murphy. Morai. Around Towns. Carpenter steaming in.
Yeah, Jakupi there getting down the line, doing what I was asking of. Can he do it? Great delivery, well defended in the end. No takers.
Santa Morai has his sight set on goal, and it's straight at Tom Manos.
Comfortable one there for Manos on Murray's weaker foot. From distance, first shot, pretty much, you have to say, that's any trouble whatsoever at Manos so far. 20 minutes in.
Now there might be something for Bruno Fornaroli to run onto. Avondale are in behind all of a sudden, and he tried to play the unselfish pass for George Ott, but Avondale spurned the biggest chance of the game so far.
Well, that's a huge spurn. Now, you talked about Tevere earlier on. Could he have went on his own? Well, certainly Bruno Fornaroli, you're saying here, just shoot, you're 1v1. Why pass that ball there? Huge error from Bruno Fornaroli for me. Someone of his caliber as the leader of that group. I'd like to see him probably hit that. Moreton have got away with one there. Just one direct ball over the top.
Avondale been so unselfish in the final third so far. Tevere and now Fornaroli. They've lost 2 good opportunities to open the scoring. Perhaps they need to pull the trigger.
Well, it wasn't even, you couldn't even say it was a really, really tight angle, could you? You know?
Well, for anyone except Bruno, perhaps. Fornaroli beat the offside. He was in behind. That's what we've been saying about Moreton City. They will leave gaps. It's whether or not Avondale can be clinical. Locked into space, but no Excelsior player within distance to chase that one down. Manos has given D'Argenio a bit of homework here. Tries to clip it to Carpenter. Avondale almost making a rod for their own back.
Yeah, again, they've had trouble so far trying to play out. Moreton City's press has been excellent, well worked to this point. You can see the work's been done during the week by Cam Miller and his team. And they've been like that all tournament. They don't want to give you room. They don't want to sit off you. The conditions are fine to go and press as well, not too hot.
Towns giving it away. Murphy. Can Moreton City win it back? Morai. Arneson. Smith. for Anderson. Header onto Murai. Return ball for Damon Anderson. The shot lacked purchase there and trickles straight through to Manos.
That was better play from Moreton. You can just see when the likes of Murai and Kojima get on it, it starts to become a little bit more lively.
With half a chance, but Nathan Foster was there first. Quick restart out to Damon Anderson. Along with Sydney Olympic, in that group of goals that was Group A, Moreton City Excelsior have been involved in the highest scoring average games in the competition. 4.6 goals per game flying in when they took to the field.
It's uncharacteristically like them. We usually have a goal by now,
Yeah.
one way or the other.
Murphy. Hasn't been for a want of trying. There's been plenty of openings. Murai trying to create another one. He's found Jankovic. The goalkeeper was out and did not claim. And Luka Jankovic knows he was close.
Such a clever, intricate little ball there from Murai. Just to get it up and down in that short sort of space. But Manos ever so quick to get out and put the pressure on Jankovic. You just thought for a moment Jankovic was just going to dink it over him and get the other side. He's tried to finish it first time. And the pressure of Manos pays off in the end. Always a risk coming out that fast as well.
Generally, Tom Manos does like to come off his line very, very quickly. It usually works out for him. As you say, just his presence enough to put Jankovic off, if nothing else. Glorious opportunity. Picked off by Sayers. Towns applying the pressure. And Cuba pouncing on the loose ball. Switch finding Carpenter. Carpenter felt he was caught late. And Eric Saber agrees.
They've hit that ball on a couple of occasions now. Avondale direct from Manos looking for Ott or Carpenter on the overlap. Carpenter again. Great first touch, takes it inside. Yeah, no complaints there. He does catch him late. Really great play from Carpenter.
He saw the contact coming there and
Yeah.
knew how to buy the free kick. That's some savvy play from the Avondale left back. Now the in-swinger from Cuba could be dangerous. Three in the wall for Moreton City. Could this be Avondale's moment in the quarterfinal? It's Sian Cuba, and it misses everything.
Yeah, after that build-up there, just hugely disappointing set-piece play from Sian Cuba. You want to put it in an area where it puts Moreton under pressure, make them defend the ball. He had one eye on the goal there.
He's certainly capable of scoring from that sort of distance. Remember a goal in open play for Altona Magic a couple of years ago. In that sort of spot.
We hear the cries from Moreton. There's the ball. You just see this replay. Yeah, and it looks to me he's trying to get a little bit lower in an area where you're hoping sort of maybe it gets a flick or it gets to go through all the way without the keeper sort of being attracted by the ball, or the defender rather.
Deflection on the cross off Declan Smith, and Dylan Jacobi earns Avondale another corner. I've never seen Dylan Jacobi deployed in the forward line before, I don't believe. Almost all of his Avondale career was Played as a right fullback before departing for North Sunshine Eagles. Now returning to the club for the championship. Carpenter's delivery. And Ott turns it around for a goal kick.
I think just on that one with Jakupi, I think they've got Chianti on the bench. I think rather than starting him, I think it's more a case of, as we see this corner, just never got past the first man. Very difficult for him to do anything with that. But I think it's just a case of, if they need something to change the game, you're better off with having a Tianchi coming off the bench rather than a Jakupi to try and get you back into a game. Perhaps the thoughts of Germano going into this one.
Chianchi has been most effective as a substitute so far. Some of their forward line talent that they named in their initial squad have not been fit to take part at all. Stefan Zinni and Stefan Valentini, who both would be in and around the first 11 selection in those wide roles, have been injured for the entire tournament thus far. Arneson. Kojima! Oh, it's wide. Moreton City with a glorious chance.
Wow. Well, again, Avondale, really cheap turnover. Wonderful ball down the side, and you've got your money on him hitting the target here at least. Heavily disappointed with that one, he will be. And Avondale breathe a sigh of relief with it going just past the post there.
It's like Avondale sleepwalking through this one a little bit. They've just seen Luka Jankovic stab one wide off the toe, and we thought that would be the wake-up call that the Avengers needed, but Tatsu Kojima in a very similar situation with a turnover high up the field. He's given another clear shooting opportunity, and Moreton City Excelsior just haven't been clinical enough to punish the Avengers. Arneson, Anderson with air underneath that cross, dealt with by Wellsmore. Fornaroli thumped into Sayers, and illegally so, says Eric Saba.
Yeah, I think the referee's got that one right. I think the one thing Bruno did there was, looked at Sayers well before the ball came in, as we see, and then bang. Not really eyes on the ball. The referee's seen that and decided to give it to Moreton City, which I think is probably the right call on that one.
He's used to getting away with those, Bruno.
Do you know what? Smart play. I used to try and do it the same. That's why I love watching him. Smaller frame, use your body well, back into people.
Can backfire, especially if you do it in your own half. Sayers will deliver to the back post, and, well, it was in that sort of central area that's almost too far out to have a shot, but not on the correct angle to cross it in, so in the end it peters out.
Difficult ones there. Looking for Declan Smith. Huge target for them.
Cross has to be so perfectly measured from those central areas. Here it is again. Just needed the pitching wedge.
Yeah, just too far away from everyone. Too heavy.
All right. Anderson. Whipped into the back post. Kojima was waiting. Now Murphy will attack that one. Header flicked on only as far as Tevere. Sayers sliding in and applying the pressure. Tevere with brilliant footwork. That is very tasty indeed from Luca Tevere. And he's got his eyes up looking for Ott. Brought down by the Kiwi, and he just leaves the cutback short of Fornaroli. Well, the switch of play from Tevere deserved better. Wellsmore. That's why Luca Tevere is attracting A-League interest. He's got the lung-busting physicality, but also the skill in close quarters.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been one of the players of the tournament. He's been a joy to watch. Very, very technically gifted. Works both boxes really, really well. Has an eye for goal.
High one for Carpenter to contest. And there's a head injury, so we'll have to stop play. It's Blake Carpenter flying in. And Damon Anderson on the receiving end.
Just when they're playing those diagonal balls, you see the replay, you find that Ott and Carpenter are always going for the same ball. There's not really much communication in there on who's really trying to go for that and who's making the run. If you're Germano, you're probably wanting one to make the run off the other.
We know Carpenter loves a long running jump at an aerial ball.
We just seen Katatsu Kojima on the picture there again. He'll be hugely frustrated with that opportunity that he had in front of goal, that 1v1 opportunity. Best chance of the game, you have to say. See this head knock again. Bit of a sore one there for Anderson. Certainly a target for Avondale, playing that direct ball on that side so far in this game. Not been their normal selves, you have to say, in terms of possession. Moreton City have made them rush. The game plan's worked excellently well, you have to say. If you're Moreton City, you're pretty happy with how events have gone up to this point. You've had the better opportunities as well. Maybe a little bit frustrated not to have taken that opportunity. And again, Seita Moro just on picture there with Cam Miller. Just so clever, picking up so many different pockets. Started on that wide left, but we're seeing him invert quite a lot, playing in those little pockets, creating a few issues for the likes of Ite Towns in behind when they're in possession. They need to see him more on the ball, Avondale, as well, and trying to control it with the likes of Tevere. Calming the game down. They've not been able to, though, because Moreton have rushed them so far.
Back underway. While Damon Anderson continues to receive a bit of treatment on the sideline. D'Argenio. It's 11 v 10 for the time being, as Carpenter sends it forward to Fornaroli. Anderson's back out there now. Fornaroli takes his touch wide. Knocks it through the gap. Otts. Anderson clips it up the line. Header won by Carpenter, and then brought down on the chest. Infield to Tevere. Tevere could go for goal. Instead he sends it wide for Jakupi to the byline. Jakupi with plenty on that, and Ott will have to recover on the far side. Back to Carpenter. Chance to cross. Again, they try that switch to the back post. And Jakupi can't reach it. Let's check in with Nick Debano.
Thanks, Josh. It's very warm underfoot here at the moment, and it's starting to heat up a little bit, obviously, on the touchlines as well. We saw that earlier challenge with Bruno Fornaroli and Lockie Says. A few words afterwards between Lockie Says and Bruno Fornaroli. Just thought he was chirping a little bit there. Did Lockie, with Bruno remonstrating for that foul, as we'll stay with play for a moment.
Yes, Moreton City once again falling victim to turnovers in their own half. Kojima, Arneson, Anderson. With space ahead of him. Tries to go past Carpenter and beat him for pace. But Cuba was on the recovery run and put enough pressure on Anderson to turn it over. Come back to Nick Debano in a moment as Avondale try and go forward quickly. Ott. Cuba. Clever 1-2. The return ball was all too heavy. Intercepted by Carpenter and then sliding in. Wasn't caught with studs there. Referee Saba plays advantage. Tevere. Bruno Fornaroli tries to roll it back into Tevere's path, but it was a little telegraphed. Now Moreton City calling for a stoppage. Well, let's go back down to Nick now.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, just looking at Blake Carpenter after that challenge, smacking the ground in agony after that one. So Fingers crossed it's all good for Blake, because he's had a strong start to this one, and we saw how good he was against Preston last week. Just looking over at that Avondale bench a little bit earlier, Zachary Chianchi is one of the two players already up and warming up, and I know it's something you both, Josh and Scott, mentioned about him coming on in the second half, so don't be surprised if he may be one of the first players brought on to try and find that all-important opener. Great to see as well a nice little contingent of Moreton City fans in the grandstand today who have made the trip down from Queensland. The conditions feel very Queensland-like down here at the moment, quite humid and quite warm. So things certainly heating up here at Avenger Park.
Thanks, Nick. Well, heat and humidity, Moreton City right at home. Blake Carpenter receiving treatment.
Yeah, it's unlike him to stay down as long as he has. From that man's perspective on camera there on shot, he'll be hoping one of his main man, Carpenter's okay. He looks okay.
He was just caught by the studs on the follow through from Mr. Arneson, who had the swing. Nothing untoward really, but a painful one.
No, if anything, the pace that Carpenter was coming in at, I was a bit concerned for him that he might be a little bit late, but he got there first. He had to get there first, you feel, or else he could have been a boy that might have been in a little bit of trouble.
Was sent off once this season against St Albans, and has made a habit of getting into disciplinary trouble every now and again over his NPL Victoria career. Blake Carpenter, with the intensity and pace that he plays at, it comes with the territory at times.
Just see Manos there play that out the pitch. If you take a real good watch of the pitch at the moment, it looks glorious from where we are at the moment. Ball just seems to be bouncing a little bit. It seems quite dry out there. A few times ball underfoot. Trying to take it first time as well. Again there, as we see.
Delicate layup from Towns, and now Tebere goes to work. Perfectly weighted ball for Jakupi. Jakupi's cross. Ott was steaming in. He got nowhere near the ball, unfortunately.
No, he's steaming right into the back of Declan Smith, who's felt that one.
It's the target man playing off the left. If the cross is measured to perfection, he'll be crashing in late into that 6-yard box. Rash slide from Lundy, and it's left his side exposed. Dargenio gets across superbly well to dispossess Jankovic.
Dargenio was excellent for Avondale last week, leading that back line. No Bryce, the captain last week, and now no Reed.
All of his senior colleagues in defence now absent. So Dargenio, if you're a young player, when you don't have that steadying influence of a natural central defender who's experienced alongside you, it can be a different story, but he's looked at home so far. Floater into the side netting. No concerns for Manos. Well, the winner of this one goes through to face Marconi, who are riding a high after their penalty shootout victory against Apia last night. You don't want to go to penalties against Marconi with a goalkeeper like James Hilton in the form he is.
Oh, no.
Could be an injury issue as Fornaroli spins his man and threads it through for Ott. George Ott! Was he caught there by the goalkeeper?
Oh, we're going to see I think we're going to see a review, Josh.
This could be our first review of the afternoon. The Avondale players are certain they want Jonathan Germano to play that card.
Just go back to Declan Smith there. Seems to have got his foot stuck in the ground. Hopefully he's not too bad. Oh, there's no, they're not gone for it.
Well, there is time for Avondale to make up their minds. In the injury stoppage.
Well, I don't think he realises you have two of them.
Ball's already gone, would you?
Yeah, you could argue. Again, you see the ball bobbling up on Fornaroli before he plays that ball. Oh, I'll tell you what. Yeah. Do you know what the argument would be if you're watching that as a fourth year or the VAR, the FAR as we're calling it? yeah, the ball's just gone too far away. He's knocked it away already before the contact's even made, so he's not even going to get to the other end of it.
Could be a knee issue for Declan Smith. That's the last thing Moreton City need for their captain, their leader.
That'd be a huge blow.
Especially in the back line where they have been so shaky. He's been the man holding things together.
Again, Bruno just rolled him really well on that halfway line. He looked to go in with him and try and force the turnover. But as he's done that, if we get to see the replay, I think his legs got stuck in the turf as he's tried to turn, which is never nice. See, he's explaining to the physio there just as he's tried to turn. Just a little feeling of that. See it here. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. And it's the right one. It's not even the left. The left one's the planted one, and he's gone with the right straight after it. As we look to see. Oh. It's not even plant. It's the first plant. Yeah, that doesn't look a good one at all.
It's always those non-contact injuries. That
he's getting carried off now, so huge worry for Cameron Miller and Moreton City. That's a huge blow.
Looks like Declan Smith's afternoon has come to an early end. Jamie Waddington is ready to replace him from the looks of things. Well, the central defenders across both sides dropping like flies.
Yeah, never nice to see it. I hope it's not a bad one for Declan.
Oh, and we will have a review from the looks of things. Belatedly so.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what their point of view on this is compared to ours or mine. Whether or not he's just knocked it too far ahead of himself after the contact's made.
So, the review has been deployed, the card played. You can have 2 unsuccessful challenges per match. So even if this is unsuccessful, Avondale still have 1 challenge remaining.
But if it's right, they've still got 2.
Exactly. You keep your challenge if it's successful. Much like in other sports we've seen this sort of system deployed in, tennis, cricket.
Here we go.
What will Eric Saber decide? No penalty. Well, he kept us guessing until the final moment there, Eric Saber. No giving it away with the body language. Real poker face.
Yeah, look, I think that's the right decision. Right call in the end. I think, like we called it there, you know, just too heavy on the touch. And you even see the contact. It's not deliberate contact. It's not the arm. Not to say that that should really matter at times, but it's actually contact made to him from Ott on his head after the ball's gone. So we move on. Unsuccessful. 1 to go.
Tavare in behind for Jakupi to chase. Claimed by Foster. Well, we've seen our first substitution and our first challenge of the afternoon, and now a hefty 7 minutes of first half stoppage time is up on the board. It's worth rolling the dice on that review in the end, Scott, even if it was unsuccessful. Stay with play for a moment as Murai misses Kojima in the middle.
I think we've seen from Germano's sort of reaction that he was sort of saying, no, it's not worth it. But then everyone gets to the bench as well. The stoppage and play starts to convince you otherwise.
It's allowed to run through by Millard. And then Jankovic protesting his innocence for the shove on Yite Towns. Will be an Avondale free kick.
Again, in that central position, a difficult sort of area where to sort of target for.
Wellsmore hangs it high for George Ott. Tevere.
Lovely play once again from Tevere.
He's been very tidy indeed this afternoon. Wellsmore. Wellsmore's whip delivery off the chest of George Ott. Won't sit for the strike. A shout for handball. Now Cuba. Exchanging passes with Ott. Cuba hangs it up to the back stick. Carpenter has his header blocked on the line.
Yeah, from Trent Millard, who didn't really know a lot about it. Carpenter sneaking in that back post. Sian Cuba, where we see him naturally positioned for Avondale, sort of in those wider areas, creating havoc of Ott's sort of second ball phase. Again, too close.
Chest.
Lovely little dink to the back stick here. And Carpenter, great contact on it.
Straight on Foster, and he's underneath it. It's over the bar of its own accord. Slight nervy moment for Nathan Foster, but he'll say he had it covered.
We just see there, just going back to Cuba in those wider areas, a huge loss for Avondale having to play him or deploy him, you know, in that central midfield role that he's had to do on a couple of occasions in the last couple of games as well. And obviously with no Abdallah as well, you can see Fornaroli just being starved a little bit in that final third for combination play.
Broken up the reliable Avondale midfield three. That ball was moving. Of Towns, Trycheski, Tevere, although we could see that later on in the contest if Christian Trycheski is fit to take part.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see if he's there as a poker sort of card. Certainly the way that Trycheski come off last week, it was all money that he wasn't going to be ready for this one.
It looked very painful indeed, the turn of the ankle, but has been included among the substitutes, so maybe it's break glass in case of emergency for Christian Trycheski and Avondale. Still 3 minutes of stoppage to play. We've had one green card deployed by the Avondale bench already for that penalty shout for George Ott, turned down after video review.
You feel Moreton just need to get to half-time now. With the loss of Declan Smith, it's sort of shaken them up a little bit.
Some Cam Miller there, the youngest coach in the Australian Championship, just 31 years old. Took over a side that was battling relegation. He's only 2 points clear of relegation in 2022, but he's led them to 2 second-place finishes and now a premiership this season. Quite the turnaround. Towns. Tevere gets it back to Towns. Very tidy work from Avondale. Carpenter with the eyes up, spotting the run of Cuba. McAnally claiming the last touch came off the Avondale man, but Eric Saba doesn't agree. Quickly taken throw from Cuba. Into the feet of Fornaroli. Requires 2 players to dispossess him. Clever double team from Sayers, who's now wearing that armband. Yankovic. Moreton City with their backs against the wall here. They're yet to be breached. Tevere gave it up to Murphy. Now Millard. Morai. Arneson punches one through the lines for Kojima, and now Moreton City can get it going forward. Is there an offside there? Kojima coming back on the wrong side of the defence.
Interesting one. Couldn't see it out of shot.
Generally have to trust the assistant referee on those sorts of incidents. Players coming back from perhaps making a run in behind. Still scoreless in this second quarterfinal in the Australian Championship. Had plenty of goal-mouth action, no goals so far. Avondale looking to change that in the shadows of half-time. Wellsmore. That's all we've got time for. Eric Saba brings a pretty dramatic opening 45 to a close. And Moreton City Excelsior, despite being outpossessed for most of the first half, will feel they had the better of the chances. The game remains at 0-0. We'll take a short break. All of the halftime analysis on the other side. It's Avondale FC 0, Moreton City Excelsior 0 in the quarterfinal.
Here now with Avondale midfielder Luca Tevere. Luca, reflect on that first half. Very physical. Lots happening out there.
Yeah, they came out firing. There's a few big challenges coming out in the first 20 minutes, but we kept pushing, and I'm sure the gaps will open up in the second half.
How are you finding the conditions? Quite warm at the moment, quite humid. How are you finding it in that first half?
Yeah, it's pretty hot. The ground got pretty sticky in the end, but it's the same for both teams, so we'll just have to keep pushing.
Congratulations. Oh, sorry. Good luck, Luca. I'll talk to you later on. Cut that laugh.
Scoreless at the break in the second quarterfinal in the Australian Championship. It's Avondale 0, Moreton City Excelsior 0 after an action-packed first half. Josh Parrish here alongside Scott McDonald to take you through it all. Scott, it was a pretty fast and physical opening to that one. Moreton City in particular applying a lot of pressure high up the pitch and also the tackles flying in.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what Moreton City do. They come at you. You know, they're a brave side who want to play in the right manner, in the right way, and they do try and stop you in those transition moments. And they've certainly upset Avondale to this point, and Avondale just haven't really been able to flow like they'd like to. Moreton City, you have to say, it probably had the better of the chances, you know, but there was certainly a lot of feisty sort of physical contact within the first 20 minutes of the game, like Tevere had mentioned, and also something he did pick up on that I did, the bouncy of the ball. But this is the best chance of the game so far for Kitatsu Kojima, and you're thinking Harry Arneson with a wonderful, you know, weighted passer, and you're thinking just hit the target, trouble Manos, but he's not managed to, and Manos and Avondale breathe a huge sigh of relief.
Well, both of Kojima's goals coming from outside the box. Here's that penalty shout, which saw Avondale eventually reach for their first green card to issue a coach's challenge to the decision, but Eric Saber going over to the video monitor, still ruling this one as no penalty.
Yeah, well, we wondered if we were going to see that today, and we certainly have. We've seen it already, and I think, you know, referee, absolutely the right call. Ball just got too far away from Ott there, and, yeah, correct decision in the end.
Well, the stats don't really reflect Avondale's territorial dominance, but you can see the shot count dead even. Moreton City, for what little forays forward they've had, they've been very effective. And we also saw Luka Jankovic go through to stab one just wide. They could well be up in this game.
Yeah, they could be. And, you know, the difference is in the midfield play with, you know, Moreton playing two sort of lower as 2 6s and 1 10, and then the opposite of, you know, Avondale playing 1 6 and 2 10s. Is giving them a little bit of a problem, and that's where Kojima and the likes of Murai are finding those little pockets and causing a little bit of trouble in the transitions for Avondale.
Luca Tevere mentioned the pitch being a little dry, a little sticky, and it may have cost Declan Smith as well. We saw the Moreton City Excelsior captain on crutches as he left the pitch after that first half. But let's rewind to last night, Friday night, Derby d'Italia at Leichhardt Oval. And what drama as Marconi defeat West Sarpia, 1-1 on penalties and then to spot kicks. This is the opening goal from Mate Busek. Thumped in after the overhead kick attempt in front of him. Didn't let it put him off. But then the teenager, 16-year-old Oscar Gonzalez, with his second goal of the tournament in the 98th minute to send the Arpia bench sprinting down the touchline onto the penalty shootout. Oli Kalatz denied. It was goalkeeper versus goalkeeper in a marathon shootout, and James Hilton living out every keeper's dream by saving 3 penalties and scoring the winning penalty himself. What scenes?
Incredible scenes, and you have to say he's definitely been the goalkeeper of this tournament up to this point, and you know, just his penalty, you know, spot kicks heroics, you know, not just in this competition but throughout. He's a wonderful penalty shot stopper. And as we can see, you know, lifted on the night. And after, you know, the last weekend of, you know, getting beat 5-0 by Wollongong, wonderful reaction, you have to say. And now in a semi-final, and looking forward to seeing who the winner of this is for them.
Well, Marconi looked in all sorts last week when they, as you say, nearly got eliminated on goal difference. But now they're riding high, and no one will want to play them next. It's going to be one of Avondale or Moreton City, the winner of today's quarterfinal that faced Marconi in the semis. Heidelberg United versus Mestro Stars, and South Melbourne versus Spirit tomorrow on the other side of the draw. We'll be back with the second half on the other side. Avondale 0, Moreton City Excelsior 0, all to play for on the other side. welcome back to the Reggio Calabria Club. It is Avondale FC 0, Moreton City Excelsior 0 at the break after a very eventful and very physical first 45. Avondale the favourites with their depth tested today by a number of absentees. Moreton City with arguably the two best openings of the first half. Let's see who breaks the deadlock in the second. Josh Parrish here alongside Scott McDonald. Live and free on SBS. This is the Australian Championship quarterfinals, and knockout football always delivers the drama. Let's check in on the sideline with our man Nick DeBano.
Thank you, Josh. Yes, it's still quite warm here at Avenger Park, as Luca Tevedo spoke about at halftime, quite sticky underfoot, and we'll see how those conditions impact both sets of teams in the second 45. As you guys mentioned, it does, probably more suit Moreton City. This probably more feels a lot like home for them. Just behind me at the moment, some of the Avondale substitutes are out and warming up. It looks like Zachary Chanchi, as we spoke about a little bit earlier, is one of the players set to be coming on. He's got his bib off, and you can expect that at some point, whether it's at halftime or later on in the second half, that he'll be coming on to the pitch. Be fascinated to hear your thoughts, guys. Do you think that's a change that needs to happen now, or would you guys wait a little bit longer to bring on the speed of someone like Chanchi who can try open up the defence?
Well, Nick, you're the man who was following his exploits all year for FC Bulleen Lions at the Veneto Club. You tell us, what will Zach Cianci offer as an impact substitute, and do they pull the trigger now?
Well, he brings a lot of unpredictability, a lot of speed. He's someone who's not afraid to run at players, to take players on, even have a shot at goal as well. He's got goals in him. We have seen in the championship already, and I think it'd be a matter of time that we do see that sub maybe for a little bit more electricity in that final third. We spoke about the wide target man they've gone with George Ott playing alongside Bruno Fornaroli and Dylan Jacupi, who we know more as a fullback. So it'll be fascinating to see what they do in this second 45.
Thank you, Nick. Looks like they're ready to pull the trigger on that substitution already. So Zach Cianci ready to make his introduction. Perhaps for Jacupi, a straight swap?
Yeah, I think it's something that had to happen. We talked about it in the first half there. Bruno Fornaroli a little bit starved of service and help and combination play as well. And another one that we are sort of talking off air to you would be to see Gattoli come on at some point and maybe try and play, Cuba a little bit higher and wider as well to create that little bit more threat and that combination and connection with Bruno Fornaroli. I think that's something that Jonathan Germano could potentially look at, but obviously Sian Cuba's done excellently in that midfield zone as well, but Gattoli was ever so impressive, coming on last week, for Avondale also. So another one that can come off the bench, and I'm sure we'll see him at some point.
My guess would be that Avondale would prefer not to risk Tchaikovsky if they can avoid it. If they go behind, then perhaps you think you need a bit of midfield magic and we'll roll the dice. But if they can keep him fresh for a semi-final, that's the ideal scenario.
And I just wonder, it'd be interesting to hear from Nick if he got any word on the case of Declan Smith as well, to see how bad that one is as well. So maybe we can hear from him later on in the half as well and see if he's got any news on that one.
We did see Declan Smith leave the pitch on crutches after that apparent knee injury. So it looked like a nasty one for the Moreton City captain. We hope it's not as bad as it looked. Right, Jamie Waddington summoned the 19-year-olds into the heart of defence alongside Trent Millard, who's only 22, so a very young backline.
Yeah, very young and less physical than what Moreton City would like as well. So leaving the likes of Yacht in play at the moment, but they've managed to deal with him pretty well up to this point.
There's the Moreton City substitutes. No evidence that Cam Miller will go to his bench again unless he has to.
Again, they're very, very depleted in terms of that squad and what they've got. We mentioned about no Joe Scott, no Andy Pengele, Chris Maher on the bench. Plenty of experience, but out with that. Very, very young.
Confirmation of that change. So Zach Cianci on, Dylan Jacupi off. A straight swap on the right-hand side. And more of a natural winger to give Avondale a bit more forward thrust. Sian Cuba, who's ready to get us underway for this second half. Eric Saba makes sure it's 11v11. And we're away. Big second half here for Avondale. Favourites at home against the visiting Queensland Premiers, but they haven't exactly convinced. Only trailed once in this competition so far. That was away against Northwest Sydney Spirit, where they were 2-0 up, trailed 3-2, and then equalised with virtually the last kick of the game. Chianchi influential in that goal, eventually tucked home by Amir Abdullah, who's another one of the absentees for Avondale on the team sheet today. It's almost a survival of the fittest when we get to this stage of the competition after a long NPL season. Obviously the Australian Championship in its first year, and the teams at this semi-professional level are still learning what the best practice is to prepare their players to play upwards of 40 games in a year.
I think it doesn't help the cause as well. We'll go in the box. In terms of the amount of break that they've had also leading into this competition, and then the lack of competition to play against when everyone else is finished.
Chianchi, Wellsmore. Emlyn Wellsmore drags it wide and then sees his effort blocked by Kojima.
Again, good start there. Chianchi getting on the ball. Don't want to see a lot more of him on that.
Avondale with another corner. Clever from Wellsmore, but a good stretch and blocked by Kojima, who's played some of his football at left back so far in this competition.
A player I know very well. Signed for Gold Coast Knights originally. Can play in numerous positions, as we've well seen in this tournament. Excellent talent.
He's got a bit of magic in his boots, Tatsu Kojima. So does Blake Carpenter. He sends it into the near stick. Doesn't beat the first man this time. Calmly picks out Chianchi for his first contribution. Wellsmore back to Towns. Avondale remaining patient. All the way back to Tom Manos. Yite Towns. Took it into traffic there and turned it over. That's unlike him. Usually a metronomic presence at the base of midfield. The longest serving Avondale player by some margin. Celebrated his 200th game for the club midway through the year. Waddington wins the aerial ball. Tevere out to Carpenter. Tevere looks for the return. He's been lively. Sends it wide for Chianchi, who wants to run at his man. Chianchi can't get around. It was Murphy at left back there on the stretch. Still anyone's game. Tevere doubling back to gain possession. D'Argenio. Oh, took a tumble. It was too theatrical for Eric Saber's liking. Went down in stages there.
Yeah, the big man there just felt a little bit of contact, but not enough there for Eric Saber to give the foul for sure.
Now D'Argenio has coughed it up. And away come Moreton City. This is the chance they need to spring in transition. Kojima. Jankovic in support. Kojima loves to cut in from the right and shoot, but there's no space for it this time. It's kind of a brilliant goal against South Melbourne as Tevere and Fornaroli get in each other's way. Don't expect Bruno to be best pleased about that. Morai. Too much on it for Kojima. Moreton City needed that draw to see them through and not wait for Sydney Olympic to chase the goal difference on the final day. They were 2-0 down early doors against South Melbourne and quickly fought their way back. And it was Kojima's goal, a beauty from outside the box, that kick-started the comeback. Tebere. One back by Excelsior. Kojima looks for Morai. This could be the chance. And Morai has blazed it wide. Just doesn't get clean connection on the shot.
Well, again, like we've seen in the first half there, Avondale being really sloppy in possession. And for someone of Sata Morai's quality to let a chance like that go a-begging, he may not get a better one than that today. Quite fancied him from that area to even trouble Manos.
Here they go again. Oh, Jankovic brought down. And what colour's the card?
It's red.
Brandon Lundy is off.
Wow. Well,
Deputising in central defence.
We're going to see a review here.
Well, Eric Saba takes the view that Brandon Lundy intentionally denied a clear goal-scoring opportunity.
I think if you're Jonathan Gamano, you've got to use that review.
He's got the card in hand. He's only got one challenge left. Jonathan Germano is deep in thought.
Again, sloppy in possession. Is his man getting round? You can't see from that one there.
I think it's the correct decision, Scott.
You just see D'Argenio coming in, though. There is an element of doubt there. You just wonder sometimes. Maybe it was worth the review. Still thinking about it. Tick-tock, tick-tock.
Avondale are not going to review. So they will keep their challenge. But reduced to 10 men against a Moreton City side that's exploited gaps in their backline all afternoon so far. This is an uphill battle all of a sudden for the top-seeded Avengers. It's going to be Lachlan Sayers over the free kick, and he can't make them pay.
See the challenge once again. It's cynical from Lundy.
And because it's outside the box, he can't claim it was a footballing challenge.
I think if you're Eric Saba, you have no choice but to brandish that red card.
He took the view that Jankovic was through one-on-one. He would have got the shot away before D'Argenio gets across, so therefore he has to issue the red card. And even the Avondale bench, despite their frustrations, actually agreed with his assessment. Here goes Fornaroli. Sees his effort blocked by the substitute Jamie Waddington. It's end-to-end at Avenger Park.
Yeah, well, they've made a change straight away, Jonathan Gamano. Ott's gone through the middle there, and Bruno Fornaroli just playing in a wider area and already causing issues for Moreton there. Just couldn't get out of his feet. Really good block from Damon Anderson to get back and stop the threat of Bruno Fornaroli.
Corner delivery onto the 6-yard box, an awkward bounce. Towns. It'll drop for Kojima. All right. Luka Jankovic, beautiful spin. Collected Carpenter on the way through. Actually, it peters out.
E.T. Towns now gone into centre back.
Well, they're running out of central defensive options. Avondale, they've got Ethan Pisani on the bench, who's another very inexperienced player at the top level. Great footwork from Kojima. Wide to Jankovic and Morai. Now Moreton City can get some possession and some field position. Play the kind of football they're accustomed to playing in NPL Queensland.
Yeah, they've just got to be careful that they don't leave the back door open, though. That's the only worry for Moreton City, as we've seen throughout this competition. They like to throw bodies forward. So even against 10 men, it could be their kryptonite in their play. So just something to watch out for.
Get the sense that if Avondale still had 2 challenges up their sleeve, they would have rolled the dice on the red card, but they've already used one on the penalty appeal in the first half. So
I think it was the right decision to go for that one, though, as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't get the benefit of what we're seeing. And when you know there's contact made of some sort from the goalkeeper, and players on the pitch sort of suggesting as well.
Arneson. All right, dispossessed by D'Argenio. Fornaroli's floating wherever he sees fit. It's Manos. Too much on it. We need something big out of Luca Tevere in this second half there to progress. As he said, Fornaroli lining up nominally on the left-hand side now with George Ott playing through the middle. Those two haven't been able to coexist in the same team, particularly convincingly so far.
Oh, you just wonder how those 38-year-old legs are going to hold up in that wider area with 10 men as well.
We haven't seen Jack McAnally get too far forward from right fullback. Just maybe seeing Bruno Fornaroli unwilling to track back might invite that sort of overlap.
Harry Arneson on a booking already there.
Quite right. Let's go down to the touchline and check in with Nick DeBono. Nick, Avondale opting not to play their final review card there for the red card challenge. What was your view on that, and what was going on between the benches?
Yeah, Josh, I mean, looking at that Avondale bench while it was happening, Jonathan Germano, assistant coach Shane Rexepi and co were all deliberating with the analyst above me in the commentary tower, Maxim Gajdovski, as to whether it was a last man challenge. They were thinking about it and talking it through. But in the end, I believe that maybe the additional view and the additional point of view from the bird's eye position that Max is in gave them that, you know, sort of clear conscience to decide, well, we're going to go against the decision to challenge and keep that challenge up their sleeve. Because as you guys mentioned, they're already down to 1 challenge. And if they got that one wrong, they're down to 0 for the rest of the game. And already being down a player, that would have been a tough position for them to be in, considering how much of a potential bonus it could be.
Thank you, Nick. You can see the replay there of Germano laying down his hand, so to speak. I have to say, Scott, I do like this challenge system. So we'll stay with play. Kojima could be in here. He's beaten the offside trap. Manos well off his line, gets a second bite at it and buries it. And Moreton City Excelsior lead on the road in the quarterfinal. Keitatsu Kojima, emphatic.
I'll tell you what, he does so well to keep himself composed. We've seen so many in similar situations that they get themselves into in these moments where the ball's bouncing after the goalkeeper, Manos, like we talked about, comes out very, very quickly once again. The ball's bouncing, but what a contact on the second phase here. Tries to flick it over in the first time. He steadies himself, and he makes absolutely no doubt about the second phase and puts his team now in a really strong position against 10 men to get themselves in a semi-final.
What about the first touch as well? It was
Off
such
the
an awkward
side of the
height.
head. Manos does well the first time round. Both Towns, and I think it's Wellsmore, both go to the line instead of someone going and engaging it. But Keitatsu Kojima, you see there the fist pump from Cam Miller and what it means to him, but making no mistake like he did in the first half. And a long way back now for Jonathan Germano and Avondale. What do they do and how does he change it from here?
Goodness me. Avondale were strong favourites, but down to 10 men and down a goal at home. They have it all to do against a Moreton City side who's probably been good value for the lead. Perhaps see the makeshift nature of that Avondale backline as well. The way that one ball just cut out the whole back four, really. If they win it high again, they could be in for two. Ooh. Manos tips it around his near post. It was Harry Arneson with the curling shot.
Again, it's just been the story of the game itself. Avondale so sloppy and poor, but Moreton City so good at pressing. And you just think the deflection here might do Manos. But he stands well, gets a strong hand to it.
Just saw on that replay, I think it's Declan Smith walking past the camera on crutches to join the substitutes on the far side.
They've managed much better than Avondale with their injuries here and their play. Two unrecognised centre-backs playing for them also.
They're missing three of their best players, Moreton City, it must be said. And swinging delivery is a high one. And it's cushioned by Cuba. Avondale clear their lines. For long though. Just so many turnovers in their own half. Towns has a stab at it. Tevere has to head wide. Gives Jankovic half a chance. Was he caught by Wellsmore? The referee takes the view that perhaps he kicked Wellsmore instead. And there's going to be some disciplinary action on the bench. Oh no, in fact, it's an injured player that's down in front of the Moreton City technical area. My mistake. And there's Declan Smith in the background. He'll be proud of how his side has managed. Well, there's a yellow card shown to the bench amid all that as well. Cam Miller can't quite believe it.
I can only imagine it's for complaining about not stopping the play earlier, or potentially this one here.
There's no real movement towards the attacking player to generate that contact from Wellsmore. That's probably what saves him. Do you think it's obstruction there of the attacking player?
Again, Eric Saba to this point has had an extremely good game, I have to say, and right call once again.
He's had some big calls to make. The non-penalty for George Ott. The red card for Brandon Lundy, and at least in our assessment, Scotty has got all the big calls right so far. He's in trouble here. Ite Towns taking an eternity to get rid of the ball. He gets lucky. Tevere out to Cianci. They need some inspiration from their super sub. Cianci. He was looking for the little run into the channel from George Ott and didn't get it.
Yeah, something needs to change for Avondale. We're 63 minutes in and they've not been them normal selves, you have to say. That final third just not clicking. Really missing Abdallah today.
City building again. Anderson helps it through. Morai 2-0. Moreton City have 1 foot in the semi-finals.
And it's a Japanese duo once again, showing wonderful combination play between them. This time Murai on the end of it. Kitatsu Kojima though with the wonderful through ball. And he sends Manos the wrong way. It's as cool and as calm as you like. Lovely weighted pass from there. I think it's actually Anderson. I think Kojima with the initial here. 1-2 with Jankovic. And then Anderson, Murai just following in again, third man run. And Avondale, just like mannequins, Ite Towns, just not the speed there to get across. And it's a long way back now for Avondale, who just haven't shown any attacking prowess in this game to this point. They're going to have to throw caution to the wind now. Really go for this.
What an upset we're seeing unfold in front of us. Cam Miller out to the edge of his technical area, dishing out the instructions. They're not home and hosed yet. Moreton City are hardly used to this situation. They don't tend to lead in games. They tend to come from behind. Carpenter cuts it back. Oh, and Cuba had the goal at his mercy.
It's a wonderful chance. First time we've seen Carpenter get down that line in this game, you have to say, as high as he is. Good delivery. Cuba hits the target, but just not enough speed on it. Just extra cautious on it.
Meanwhile, Moreton City advance down the right. Smorai, Anderson, D'Argenio at full stretch.
Yeah, I just don't... For Jonathan Gamano, the spaces are open there, and the likes of Murai and Kojima are just finding those pockets even more in this second half with them down to 10 men. They're going to have to stop that, or else there could be more goals on the other end as well.
Fornaroli, muscled out of it by McAnally. Arneson dishes it wide, Jankovic. He's the nominal striker. He's barely played as a striker so far this afternoon, dropping into pockets.
Yeah.
He said off air before he's more of a natural 10 and he's almost playing as a false 9.
Yeah.
Kojima for Jankovic. Cuba stretching to intercept. Lachlan Sayers preventing the counter-attack at the base of midfield. Anderson. Such a delicate layoff for that second goal from Anderson. Here's Arneson, Kojima, struggling to keep his footing. Infield to Anderson, clever flick, Murai. Arneson, back to Murai!
Oh, what a goal!
Incredible! Moreton City Excelsior putting on a clinic. A team goal straight out of their coach's wildest dreams. Fantastic.
Well, if you want a goal of the week, Josh, there you have it right there. Beautiful football, and again, the Japanese duo at the heart of it. Kojima starting it, Murai finishing it off. And let's not forget Arneson in this as well. They're really enjoying their football out there. And he made absolutely no mistake. No chance for Manos in goal. Out your feet, calm as you like, far corner. Thank you very much for coming. 3-0 now. And more than 1 foot, you have to say, now in that semi-final against Marconi.
They surely must be there now. Well, they're wearing the Arsenal-inspired kit, but it was more Jogger Benito.
I did say just moments before that Avondale had to be careful of the spaces opening up, and this could get nasty for them now.
Murai. Arneson, back to Murai. Playing with such freedom, such verve, such joy. Albeit against 10 men, but I don't think 11 men could get close to the ball the way Moreton City are moving it around.
No, definitely not. They've been a joy to watch this second half.
Murai. Kojima. The return ball for Murai. Kojima onto the loose one, but Carpenter strongest in the challenge.
Just wonder now if Jonathan Gamano sort of hitting the ground.
I doubt the review would have been successful anyway, but you have to say...
It leaves you not wondering, though.
Brandon Lundy's red card put Avondale in the lurch. And Moreton City, since taking the numerical advantage, have put on a show for us at Avenger Park, flying the flag for the state of Queensland.
Absolutely. And well worthy of it as well, even before 10 men. Tactically, they've been excellent today. And it really has shown on Avondale, the likes of Reed and Bryce being out the team. They've just not been able to build the game properly.
It's almost too late now to bring on Christian Trycheski and try and chase it. This Avondale team looks a shadow of the side that finished top of the pile in the regular season in Victoria.
The injuries have played their part, but there really wasn't even a, you have to say, an idea of what they would do when they went down to 10 men. Just because of the personnel, as well as we see a change for Moreton City now.
So we've just got confirmation now that the player coming on, Chris Marr, was booked on the bench. So that yellow card carries through. So he has to be aware that he's already walking on thin ice. Off comes Luka Jankovic, who's been fantastic.
Yeah, he's certainly a fantastic talent. Applied his trade at St George Wollongong this year in the Queensland NPL. Has come across to Moreton City in this competition, and he's certainly one that certainly came on the scene this year and impressed a lot of people, and I'm sure he's impressing again, and Moreton City or whoever else may well be in the moment looking to sign him in Queensland might have a challenge on their hands. I reckon his brother might be in his ear just as well, just quietly.
Marko Jankovic, of course, a stalwart for South Melbourne and previously the Bentley Greens. A name that always comes up at Australia Cup time. Well, it's Gattoli and Marinkovic on for Avondale. They've rolled out the young brigade. Fornaroli, was he tripped? Not even the Uruguayan appealing for that one. Oh, the toughest moment of Jonathan Germano's young coaching career. It's his first senior job. Smooth sailing until this afternoon. One back by Sayers. Spinning away from traffic. Chris Marr, the veteran, on to steady things and nurse this team through the last 20 minutes. He's not going to play as a nominal striker the way Jankovic was. Will be Murphy, who's the next name in the book, and indeed the yellow card is brandished by referee Eric Saba.
Bit of a silly one, considering very comfortable in this game.
It's James Murphy, who's been in and out of the starting lineup through the group stage. His first year with the club in 2025.
Could this be Moreton City's first clean sheet potentially as well of the competition?
I believe you're right. McAnally. Delicately measured to Anderson. Kojima, helped on by Murai. Marr. Played backwards to Waddington. Arneson. Cam Miller will be beaming with pride at the way his team are knocking the ball around. Kojima. Arneson. Anderson. Sayers. Arneson has Kojima free out wide. He thought he was offside and didn't get involved. I'm not sure he was offside.
No, and I think from Arneson's reaction there, he thought exactly the same there. They'll let it off the hook a little bit there.
Excelsior can probably afford a couple of those moments of miscommunication. Chianchi. As we said before, the Marconi Stallions, buoyed by that penalty shootout victory. What a roller coaster few days they had in between getting thumped 5-0 by Wollongong on the Saturday, albeit with a few players arrested. Surviving by the skin of their teeth and then winning a dramatic shootout thanks to their star man in between the sticks, Jimmy Hilton. They will await the winner of this one, which looks like it's going to be Moreton City Excelsior. That game likely to be played, we're hearing, at Kogarah.
That's been the great thing about this tournament to this point. You know, when we looked at Apia at the beginning of the tournament, we thought, oh, they're going to be ones to watch out for. Marconi then had their spell. Then they go and get beat 5-0. Avondale have not been beat in the tournament. Moreton City have been up and down throughout the whole tournament to this point. But as always, and once again today, give us great entertainment. It's just been a wonderful competition to this point. And we're only now in the quarterfinal stage and the halfway point of games as well. So really excited to see what this afternoon brings and tomorrow. And could we see more upsets?
Well, I think we've seen the lower seeded team victorious in both encounters, barring a miracle late Avondale comeback. Pickle juice coming out for Mr. Sayers, struggling with a bit of cramp. It is pretty hot today in Melbourne, as Nick Dabano's been informing us. And they won't take too many risks, I wouldn't have thought, although he's saying he's okay to continue. Kojima too quick for Carpenter. It's galloped clear of Gattoli as well. It's not a bad ball, but it's just left in that zone of uncertainty, and D'Argenio makes sure.
He's just so difficult to play against, Kojima, because he's good with both feet. As you see there, he's taking the ball with his left foot. He's just nutmegging someone with it, but he's so comfortable on that left and right. Both him and Seita Morai have been excellent today and wonderful in this tournament. Moreton City, unfortunately, I don't like to say, but they'll have a job on their hands to try and keep them after this tournament.
Well, it's a shop window for all these players. Potentially for the A-League or even overseas. Or for the Giants of the NPL. Well, I'm sure will be rubbing their hands at some of the potential options in the market in the off-season. Back post delivery, and the whistle's going to go. Yite Towns was the man fouled.
Just going back to those two, though, if anyone really watching them, before they receive the ball, they're already knowing. They're at another level at the moment. That they're already knowing where they want to go with the ball, even with their little flicks. And I talked about Bruno Fornaroli in similar fashion a couple of weeks ago, but that's why they're so enjoyable to watch. And then they're always looking for each other in terms of that combination play around the box as well.
Lucas Hogan is going to come on for Blake Carpenter at left back.
If you're looking at this and you're playing against Moreton, you really want to shift them down those wide areas and try not to allow the likes of Morai and Kojima to pick up those pockets and receive balls in those areas. It's been the real undoing at Avondale today.
Foster outside his area, has to clear in a hurry. Well, we've still got the second half of our double-headed to come. Slightly amended kickoff times today to allow for the possibility of extra time and penalty kicks. It's going to be Heidelberg hosting Metro Stars.
Yeah, again, Metro Stars on a high after last week. Heidelberg have sort of not peaked in the last couple of weeks.
Here's Gianchi as he threads it through. Fornaroli is round the goalkeeper, hits the post. Hogan! Avondale have one back. And it's the substitute, Lucas Hogan, with virtually his first touch off the bench, who hands them a lifeline.
Well, I talked too soon about clean sheets, didn't I, for Moreton City. It makes it all the more exciting finish to this game. And we never get bored when Moreton City are around. Wonderful play there. Chianci cutting inside. Fornaroli making a lovely run in behind. And Hogan following up really, really well, because when you see it hit the post, you're thinking, well, it's just Avondale. It's not their day today. But he's there first. And he gets on the end of it. And now, potentially, are we going to see game on?
Fornaroli desperately unlucky not to finish it himself, but Hogan is Johnny on the spot to turn it home from point-blank range.
It's the first time we've really seen Avondale get in behind that Moreton City defence in the whole game.
his first goal ever for the club. So well done to Lucas Hogan. So precious few senior appearances. After joining the club in 2023, he's largely been playing in the under-23 side. The boy from Bendigo.
10 minutes to go. Interesting to see Moreton City's attitude now.
Chianchi. Well, we see the momentum shift.
Yeah.
The 10 men of Avondale looking to do their own Excelsior impression and come back from the dead. Wellsmore chips it forward. Avondale have a glimmer. We'd already booked Moreton City's place for them in the semi-finals, but it's not done yet. Gattoli with a superb touch to bring that one out of the sky. Wellsmore assessing his options and deciding to go back. Towns. D'Argenio will go direct, and he's given Hogan too much to do.
Yeah, just too straight in the end. Very hopeful ball. They're always difficult balls, their men behind, when they're straight ones.
Foster thump it upfield. It's a makeshift Avondale backline trying to hold on here. Manos outside his box. A few goalkeepers more comfortable than him in that sort of area.
It had to be again.
Hogan spins Anderson and is felled.
Just saying they had to be, because Kojima was sniffing around that one and looked to be getting the other side. And again, Morai seeing it very, very early.
The Japanese duo has proved the difference so far, but you never know. If Avondale score one more, it could be panic stations. It's now when you pull the trigger and see if Christian Trajewski has something left in the tank. It's going to be a yellow card shown for dissent, I believe.
Yeah, for Bruno Fornaroli. He's asking and asking and asking the referee to hurry Foster up.
Instead, he talks his way into the book. Sayers with the flick. Anderson. Lovely cushion touch from Kojima for his countryman. Arneson. McAnally into midfield for Chris Marr. Suddenly just a seed of doubt creeping in for the visitors. And they put this one to bed. Not in any particular hurry. Miller. Morai. Just waiting for their moment to strike. Murphy in the wide area. Millard. Sees his pass picked off. Marinkovic lays it off for Hogan. Tevere off balance in that duel with McAnally. Loses out. This is Anderson. Going at D'Argenio. Coming back to the top of the box where Kojima is waiting. Kojima slipped it through the gap. Anderson wasn't expecting the pass. Hogan, urged on by the coaching staff on the bench. Hogan hangs it up, and it's well, comfortable would be the wrong word, but a straightforward enough claim for Foster. Now Sayers going down with cramp for the second time. And imagine there might be a change.
Yeah, plenty of room in front of him here to continue on. Only one in the box. Disappointing in the end for Avondale.
Nathan Foster had to be clean with the take there. Kind of get embarrassed at your near post. Here come the young brigade for Excelsior. Darcy Satharasinghe. He's ready to come on. And indeed, it is Sayers who can't continue after a mammoth shift in midfield from the stand-in captain. Damon Anderson is also going to make way for Dylan Manecki. So Manecki back into the defensive line, you'd imagine. Potentially a change of shape. Luca Tevere has also been withdrawn to be running out of gas. Just at the tail end there. Going to bring on Ethan Pisani, I think. Pisani, we're most used to seeing him in defence, can also play in midfield. Not exactly an attacking change. Perhaps Avondale just need fresh legs, and it doesn't look as if they're going to roll the dice with a half-fit Christian Trycheski. Can't be understated how important he's been to this Avondale team over the last few years. Fulcrum in midfield. This is Pisani with his first contribution. He's going to play as an extra body in midfield, maybe try and crash the box with that tall frame of his. Targenio put under pressure by Satharasinghe. Gattoli floats it up for Pisani to chase, and Murphy should shield this one out. Oh, it stayed in. Well done by Pisani. Wellsmore to whip it in. Oh, and it's off-balance effort from Fornaroli. Skews skywards off his boot. Avondale will settle for a corner.
Just thought for a moment Bruno was going to make some decent contact on that. Moreton breathe a sigh of relief. They need to get a goal back on this one.
Wellsmore's outswinger. We'll have another stoppage. The home fan's not happy. Chris Marr clutching his ear. I guess it's technically a head injury.
You can hear that from the sideline. Avondale coaching staff there asking exactly the same there.
I expect the fourth official's ears will be pretty sore as well after this afternoon's protests. They can clear their feelings that Moreton City are winding down the clock.
Chrissy Marr's been around a long time, and he's had more than a sore ear in his time as a footballer, so make of that what you will.
Avondale were in possession when the drop ball was awarded. So they're almost shaping to defend a set piece here. This is a curious one. Avondale waiting for the drop. It'll be Towns. To craft out a crossing opportunity. It's not a bad ball. Punched away by Foster. Gattoli couldn't get there. Morai. Kajima slipped and still made use of the pass. Satharasinghe is charged down. The fresh legs of Pisani and then a high boot on Dargenio. He's going to get a yellow card for his troubles as well. Yellow ticket shown off camera there to Darcy Satharasinghe.
His enthusiasm getting the better of him there.
He's absolutely walloped Massimo Dargenio. No ill intent, but as you say, just over eager. Wins it cleanly this time. 17-year-old getting some priceless experience on the national stage. Catoli, another one of the teenage brigade, making waves in the first team.
10 minutes.
10 minutes up on the board. There's more than enough time here for Avondale to do something, even with 10 men.
It's incredible.
Tarasinghe with the quick feeds. McAnally, Ma. Marinkovic will run this one down. Free pass out to Millard. Murphy. Moreton City play through the lines. Ma. Moorai's in the middle. Moorai for the hat-trick. He's around the challenge. Moorai hits the advertising hoardings.
He just couldn't get out of his feet. You thought there when he chopped back onto his left, he'd done the Avondale defence. Managed just to get a little sneaky one on the ball.
Moreton City with another chance to ice the game. Satharasinghe. McAnally. Kojima. McAnally. Options in the middle. And Yite Towns read that pass like an open book. He immediately sends it into no man's land. The keeper's off his line. Fornaroli. Two defenders for company. Fornaroli tried to split the pair of them, and there was no way through.
Those tired legs there. Just couldn't get through that Moreton City defence. I don't think he really had many options ahead of him, though.
It's a very stretched game now. Avondale having to roll the dice. Kojima. I was going to say pinpoint switch. It dropped short. The line was good. The length wasn't. Chianchi for Marinkovic. Gatoli. That's a nicely measured ball. Hogan with half a chance. Hogan drills it into the area. City defence temporarily lost it in flight. And play will be brought to a halt.
It's a foul. Aaron Arneson, very, very late in the end.
Gatoli's effort on Arneson. Teenager doesn't feel like he did too much wrong there, but second to the scene. To Avondale still believe. Foster encouraged to get on with things. Wellsmore. Manos to punt it up the pitch. Keeper to keeper. Not going to unlock this Moreton City backline again with distribution like that. Oh, killed dead by Saita Murai. It's a glorious first touch. James Murphy on his bike. It's a lung-busting run from the fullback to keep that in play. Murai running off the shoulder there. He could have been in behind for a moment. Murphy didn't see him. Check in with Nick DeBarno. Nick, how's the mood down there on the Avondale bench? They still believe, or is
it's
stay with
tense,
play?
Josh. It's very tense.
Sorry, Nick. We'll come back to you now. Is there still belief on this Avondale bench, or have they conceded defeat here?
Yeah, sorry about that one, Josh. Yeah, there's still, Shane Rexepi barking instructions at the moment. Jonathan Germano looking quite pensive on the sidelines at the moment. They do need that all-important goal just to get it back to that 1-goal deficit. But looking at that Moreton City bench, it is animated as ever, telling the players to play the seconds, get the ball into the corners, and not even give Avondale a sniff of trying to break in transition. It's very tense. The second that they found out was 10 minutes, it was like, okay, got to go now. So going to be a fascinating end to this one.
Thanks for the insight, Nick. Saw late on in the Apia-Marconi game. Apia pressing for a goal. Marconi continued to press for the late sealer. Of course, 2 goals difference in this one, but still probably 4 minutes to play if you count the stoppages in added time. Marinkovic can't keep it. Murai. McAnally. McAnally galloping forward. He'll take it to the corner. And it's a corner kick.
He's done exceptionally well there. Directed by his bench to take it to the corner. Waste some more precious minutes.
What do you do with this set piece then, Scott? Do you just try and kill 30 seconds, hold it in the corner, or whip it into the box?
I think that's what Cam Miller's trying to instruct here.
I saw William Archio last night having a long-range try for Marconi to steal the game, make it 2-0. Ended up being almost a David Ginola moment, giving possession back to Apia. They go forward and score through Oscar Gonzalez, the late leveler. So can be the hero with a goal that finally seals progression. So Tharasinge wants that goal. Going to ground, hopefully more than anything, under the challenge from Towns. Looks like Excelsior will be smart here with how they manage the clock. Katoli losing out to McAnally. Kojima just too quick for Hogan. Still got plenty of running in those legs. So Tharasinge! Oh, he saw his name up in lights.
He absolutely did. What a time to.
Albeit you need quite a few lights to spell out to Tharasinge.
I'll let you pronounce that one. You've done exceptionally well to this point. Well played, Josh.
I hope I've nailed that one. Apologies.
He sort of hit across it rather than his laces there. Sort of like a half inside step of the boot.
Kojima maybe just copying a little bit of late contact as he released that pass.
He still looks as lively as ever in the 98th minute though, doesn't he?
He's an
burst
energizer
of
bunny.
speed.
Incredible. He's outpacing substitutes with fresh legs to 50-50 balls. It's something to see. Avondale's semi-final hopes trickling away. So Tharasinge dispossessing Towns. And playing in Murai, ball bobbles up on him. Arneson attacking the loose one. It won't sit for Harry Arneson. Oh, and a loose touch from Ma. Blue shirts forward of the ball, but James Murphy does his job, and so too does Trent Millard. And that should be that for Moreton City.
Congratulations to Cam Miller and Moreton City, flying the flag for Queensland football. Doing an exceptional job. They've certainly deserved it today.
It's been a bit of a marathon out there, even without extra time. Katoli. Players hitting the deck through injuries and cramp. 7 minutes of first half stoppage time, 10 minutes in the second half. Oh, that red card to Brandon Lundy was the turning point. It's Dargenio goes into the book with a late frustration foul.
So much frustration. You think you've got Kojima and he just nicks it away from you. He's done that so many times in this game. And they're a real threat in this semi-final to Marconi. Make no mistake about it.
Moreton City Excelsior proving if you take them lightly, it's at your peril. One last hopeful heave forward. Fornaroli let it run. Hogan. Centering ball cut out by the defence. There's Dylan Manecki in the way, and we will have time for one last Avondale corner. Blue shirts pile into the box. Nothing to lose now. It's onto the back post. Marinkovic arriving late. Got a touch off a yellow shirt on the way through. We're at the discretion of the referee now. Wellsmore. Cianci was up for it, struck by Pisani into the crowd of bodies. And that's full time. And Moreton City Excelsior have pulled off an upset for the ages. But make no mistake about the red card, the 11v10. It's one they richly deserved. Their Japanese duo playing the starring roles. Keitatsu Kojima and Seita Murai with the goals. A late reply from the substitute Lucas Hogan was all Avondale could muster. And it's the Queenslanders who get it done on the road, eliminating the NPL Victoria Premiers by 3-1. Oh, what a day for NPL Queensland and for Moreton City Excelsior, Scott. Some of the football they played in that second half was absolutely sensational.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, even when it was 11v11, you have to say, on the balance of play, Moreton City were the better side. Their tactics were working ever so well. And even with the attacking duo that we mentioned, Joe Scott and Andy Pengeli-Ao, the likes of Seita Murai and Keitatsu Kojima, they're just a massive threat to any team in this competition. And they managed their team far better without key players than what Avondale did on the day. And then obviously Lundy with that challenge laid on. Jonathan Gamano, like I talked about, will he be, regretting not going for the review itself? He will only know that. But wonderful moment for Cam Miller and his side today, and a huge threat in the next game.
Well, let's go down to pitch level. Nick Tabano is with the man of the moment, Seita Murai.
Here now with Seita Murai after that one. Seita, congratulations through to the semi-final. Take us through an incredible game today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. We had a tough game, but second half, amazing. We had amazing performance and 3 goals. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Playing with plenty of confidence at the moment, through to the next round, through to the Final Four. How's the belief in the group right now?
Yeah, we want to win this competition, but we need to one game, focus on one game. Yeah. Just trust the process and focus on one game, one training session.
Well, Seita, I won't hold you any longer. Congratulations again on a fantastic game, and good luck for the semi-finals.
Seita Murai, a man of few words in his second language, but there was plenty of meaning behind those words. He said they were having fun out there, and it looked like it.
Yeah, he looked at him and Keitatsu Kojima and even Harry Arneson and the likes of, they were enjoying it. When it was 2-0 up, then making it 3. That third goal was sublime, and one we'll see on replay time and again this week, I'm sure. But, well-deserved winners, like I said, and some of the goals were exceptional. And he was as calm as in his interview as what he was on the football pitch today. And he does let his football do the talking, Seita Murai as well. And it's been a joy to watch today.
Well, a man I'm sure who'll be very happy with his team's performance is Cam Miller. Nick DeBarno is with the Moreton City Excelsior head coach now.
Yes, here now with the winning coach, Cameron Miller. Cam, I mean, what a game, what an incredible second half, you know, getting that 3-goal advantage, having a bit of a nervy finish, but being able to come away with the win. How do you reflect this afternoon?
Yeah, we were delighted with the outcome, obviously. Yeah, so proud of those players because overcome, you know, even more challenges in that game today. We lose Declan Smith, our captain, and, you know, that's really difficult for us. But, you know, the players stood up really tall and completely deserved that. Our plan all week was to come here and play our football. We believed that if we got that right, we could beat Avondale. And I think that was on show today. Yes, they went down to 10, but I think before that we were in complete control. And some of the football there, for some of those goals, incredible. So, yeah, really pleased. Performance and outcome. We look forward to next week.
Resilience and belief has almost become a bit of the message as over the last few weeks for you guys. You're never out of a game. You're never out of any situation. And you mentioned losing such a key player in the first half, being able to stay the course and come away with an incredible win today. I mean, take us through it. Where does that come from? Where does that belief come from?
It comes from the character of the people in our group, to be honest. All the players, the staff, everyone in our club, because it's people that bring that together. We've got such a positive culture, a hard-working culture. We've always been the underdogs the last few years, and this year we've just got better and better. Chris Marr, one of our boys who finished the game with the armband, earlier in the pre-season it started, he said, you know, I believe we can do something special this year. We sort of kept that theme going throughout the whole year, and we have, and we keep doing it, we keep showing up. And we're not done yet. We want to keep moving forward in this competition.
One last one. Declan, how is he? Obviously, we saw him on crutches before, but any word on what the injury is?
No word on the injury yet. It's his knee, so we're obviously concerned for him. We'll see how he is. Hopefully he's okay.
Cam, congratulations, and good luck in the semi-final next week.
Cam Miller beaming with pride. And why wouldn't you be after a team performance like that? Coming through against the odds, missing some of their best players, Joe Scott, Andy Pengelly, and the captain there on crutches, Declan Smith, who was substituted. What a performance. We'll go down again to Nick DeBarno, who's with Jonathan Germano, the defeated Avondale head coach.
Yes, here now with Jonathan Germano. Jonathan, commiserations on the defeat today. I guess take us through the 90 minutes.
Moreton was more than us today. They took a ball away from us. And after one player less was even more harder for us to try to get the ball and create our side of football.
I guess take us through the decision not to challenge the red card. You thought about it for a while. You thought about it. What was the decision in the end, deciding not to go with the coach's challenge?
Yeah, we saw he was the last man going there for the challenge, and you know we believe was the right call. We didn't challenge, so it is what it is.
Plenty of belief in those last few minutes. You're able to get one back. You didn't leave any stone unturned. You pushed. What does that say about the resilience and the belief of this group?
You know, the boys, we went 3 on the back pretty much and tried to get the ball earlier to see if we can get one goal, and we did, and tried to get another goal, and we couldn't, but the boys pushed so hard. Like I said to them, the effort was there, but the other team today broke up and we didn't.
Just one final one. How do you reflect on this championship? I know it's only been a few moments, but you know, to go through the group on top, unfortunately it comes to an end today, but how do you reflect on these 7 games?
I think until the group was a good campaign, we did really good. We take 3 wins and 3 draws. For us, you know, we young coaching staff, and we're learning into that. And today, when we come over here, we think we plan the game one way, and you know, for a few things the game plan was different. So and you can see today Moreton was more than us, and we couldn't take it.
Well, Jonathan, commiserations again on the defeat, and thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Jonathan Germano there, struggling to find the words and find the answers, Scott.
Yeah, pretty honest in his assessment, though, in terms of what we've just been saying here on air. You know, that Moreton City were the better side. They wanted it more, and I think, like I said, they just managed their injuries a lot better than what Avondale did.
Yeah, and we spoke about those absentees. Aiden Bryce missing from the back line. Matt Reid missing out after last week. It's hard to cobble together a side, especially when you're a head coach in Germano who's had no experience leading a senior side.
Yeah, look, again, some of these injuries are ones that you can't account for. Some potentially maybe. In terms of that, they'll have to review that in terms of the personnel, because they've got a lot of key personnel in the background, as we've heard a lot into this tournament. So maybe that's something they need to look at. But in terms of from the attacking perspective, that's where they really lacked today. You could see that Sian Cuba having to play out of position, Abdallah, missing as well. And then some of those key players that they didn't actually get to the tournament as well, who went elsewhere, that's come back to bite them.
And you can see that some of the best sides who've competed in this tournament, maybe South Melbourne aside, have had a lot of consistency from the squad that they brought through the NPL campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, we keep talking about Avondale, but Moreton City are no different. They had 3 or 4 in there today that started the game that actually didn't play with Moreton City this year as well. So let's make no bones about this. Moreton City have done exceptionally well, and that's a team that no one expected to get out of the group. Now they're in the semi-final playing against Marconi. It's anyone's game because, again, we talked about Marconi potentially as well being one that we didn't really see after getting beat 5-0 coming through that game last night. So, we've still got 2 more quarterfinals to go. So let's just see what they bring as well.
Well, thrills and spills and upsets in the Australian Championship in the knockout round so far. Let's go through the key moments of this match, starting with the red card for Brandon Lundy.
Well, this was the big one, wasn't it? Lundy sort of taking a little bit of a chunk of Yankovic's shirt, being sloppy in possession once again like they were all sort of game. And look, you couldn't have any complaints. Eric Saba going straight for the red card there. But I just wonder, even though Jonathan Germano said, they thought it was, why not just go and put the appeal in? But from there, it was all Moreton City from there. And like I talked about in the commentary, Katatsu Kojima just taking the calmness there when he tries initially there. You see a lot of people just flash at that and it goes skying over the bar, but not Kojima on this side. He calms himself, sets himself, bang, thank you very much, 1-0. And then from there for the next 10 minutes, it was just an array of chance after chance. And Anderson, wonderful little layoff there. Seita Murai, as calm as you like, 1v1 with Manos, just slotting it nicely there to the right-hand side. And then they went and killed it off with, you have to say, the goal of the game and potentially goal of the week. Little 1-2s everywhere, Anderson going back. And Murai, like I said, in his interview, very calm in it, but just as calm on the field. Had all the time in the world. Sometimes they're the hardest ones to go and put away, but he picks his spot. And absolutely no doubt from there.
This is the consolation goal for Avondale. Fornaroli making a trademark run off the shoulder. Desperately unlucky as he rounds the keeper and hits the woodwork. But a first Avondale goal for Lucas Hogan, and maybe a silver lining for Avondale is they have blooded a few young players who've barely seen minutes in the NPL campaign, but have impressed when they've been called upon.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Katoli's been one for me who's certainly stood out. He's got the ball in his hands there, trying to get it back to the halfway line. He's been exceptional, and like you said, a great moment for Hogan as well.
Well, you can see Moreton City on the stat sheet. It tells the story. They dominated 17 shots to 10, 9 shots on target to 4, and especially that second half, it was all Excelsior.
Yeah, it was, and like we said, some of the football that they played, and Cam Miller mentioned it as well, it was just a joy to watch today.
Whether they were on the front foot or on the back foot as well. They can play on the counter-attack. They can play in possession and be the dominant team, as we saw when Avondale went down to 10 men. They are a relentlessly attacking side, but they can get it done in multiple ways going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Avondale will be kicking themselves because they never really got at that Moreton City back four too much, and that would be something that would be disappointed with.
Well, the semi-final matchup is set in stone between Moreton City Excelsior and Marconi Stallions, who progressed after that dramatic penalty shootout last night. The other side of the draw yet to be decided. Heidelberg United versus Metro Stars is coming up, and South Melbourne taking on Northwest Sydney Spirit on Sunday. So the potential all-Victorian semi-final, although, as the tournament's proved so far, you can't count your chickens as the home-seeded team.
Well, are we going to see a Victorian team in the semi-final, Josh? That's what the question we've got to ask here. Hey?
Everyone's been talking about the Victorian sides topping their groups, being the outstanding teams in the comp. Then when it comes to the knockouts, well, Avondale are the first to fall. But let's take a look ahead to what's going to be a brilliant game this afternoon between Heidelberg and Metro Stars. Olympic Village, traditionally a graveyard for visiting teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, Heidelberg started this tournament ever so well, picked up where they left off in, all the other competitions that they've been a part of this season. And it's been such a long season. Has that been taking its toll in the last couple of weeks? We'll soon find out in this if it's to go the distance as well. But Metro Stars, one team that's on a massive high today, so they're a huge threat.
Well, let's hear from the Heidelberg captain, Ben Collins.
Thanks, chaps. Here with Heidelberg United skipper Ben Collins. And Ben, you come into the knockout stages off the back of 3 straight draws, but you were able to rotate the squad at the end of a long campaign during that stretch. How valuable will that be in knockout football?
Yeah, of course. Like you said, it's been a long stint. So to rotate a few players through has been good. So we come into this game fresh and ready to go. So
Burgers did score freely during the group stages, and you spread them out as well, 10 different individual goal scorers. How valuable is that in knockout football, knowing that you're not just reliant on one bloke to grab you your goals?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you don't want to rely on 1 or 2 players that often. So to be able to spread it around is great, and hopefully we can spread it around even more today. So hopefully I'll get one.
Ben, thank you very much. Back up to you, chaps. Thanks, guys. Here with Jackson Walls, the captain of the Metro Stars. And Jackson, you come into this game off the back of 2 straight wins, finished strong, got into the knockouts. Just how do you harness that momentum now against Heidelberg?
Well, yeah, obviously 2 home wins, and that's what we needed to do. We needed to win those 2 home games, and we always knew that. We ended up winning those 2 and getting through, which was good, and our momentum into the quarters has been good. I think we've been scoring goals and keeping clean sheets, so keep it up.
Something of an unstoppable force versus an immovable object in this game. Highest scoring side, lowest conceding side. How do you keep up your defensive fortitude against the Burgers?
I think we've played together for a long time, and I think we've got that connection, and we just got to keep going. Communication is key, and keep it up.
Jackson, thank you very much for your time. Back up to you, fellas.
Eventually peaking at the right time, but Heidelberg so dominant in Victoria and on the national stage. That's all to come. We're going to take a short break here on the double header on Super Saturday, but at 3:30 it's Heidelberg United versus Metro Stars.